and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.
Hello again, my friends, and welcome into the last show of 2020 with me, your host, Martin. I can see those already filling the chat section up. Welcome in, Stat. Welcome in, Nick. Welcome in, Stuart. Nice to see you all. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. What a picture. I love that from Call Me Stat. I don't log on to Twitter half as much as I used to, so I think that's the first time I've seen that. Beautiful. Anyway, so no football over the Christmas period. Is it for you? I'm not quite sure if it's for me. We'll unpack that a bit later on. But join me this afternoon, in addition to you wonderful, wonderful people, and I want to know how your Christmases have been. Have you had a good time? Did you have the turkey? Are you still having the turkey? All of that. But joining me today, sadly, failing a late fitness test was the cruncher. So joining me is the one, the only. The media mogul himself. How you doing?
Hi everybody. How you all doing? You all good?
I'm good. It's a bit like having sort of Bubba Ray Dudley without Devon Dudley, isn't
it? Yeah. The right hand and not a left hand. Yeah. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It is.
There we go. Never mind. All the best to Rich. He's on. Get on them lem sips. I'm sure he'll be back to normal.
Yes, and all the best to Luke as well, who's part of the admin team for Facebook, who sadly isn't too well himself. So all the best to him and anybody else who isn't too well. So Christmas has come. Christmas is technically still here. I mean, you know, when you're helping yourself to the 8th slice of cheese and 4th slice of cake, you still say to yourself, it's Christmas. It's Christmas. It's fine.
It's still the festive holiday period, isn't it? That's what we're in now.
Absolutely. So that another cider in the evenings. It's Christmas. It's Christmas. How was yours?
It was very good, thanks. I mean, because we had the restrictions, obviously. The tier 4 restrictions here in Essex, So it felt like, you know, when you have kind of that reduced Christmas Day on Boxing Day, you might just get a smattering of family members over or whatever. So it felt a little bit like that, I suppose. But we did a little family thing. We met up on Zoom. We did another family, my other half's family always do a Boxing Day quiz. So we did that on Zoom.
How'd you do?
We came second by half a point.
Out of how many teams?
8.
2.
yeah. We came bottom. No, about 8 teams, I would say. 8 teams.
Okay.
You know, I when I was at Wembley, we won the Wembley pub quiz once, which had 50 teams in it. So that kind of raised the bar on quizzes for me. But but yeah, the half a point. I'll have to go back on the answers to see where we went wrong.
How did the wife's family do this quiz? So there's many different variations of quiz. You know, there's categories. There's just 10 questions. What sort of quiz did your family? Does your wife's family?
We had. So my missus's cousin Adam's always organises it. So he's like he's your Bradley Walsh. I know you're a big fan.
Big fan of Bradley.
Aren't we all? So there was general knowledge, sport, music, anniversaries was a category. So 2020 was the 50th anniversary of whatever it might be. And then family history quiz.
Oh, family. Oh, I've not heard that. Oh.
Yeah. That was like a nice little curveball. So it was like, what is Matt's band called? It was either Go Station, or which is the answer. I can't remember what the middle one was. Phillips and the Screws is one of the options. I kind of wish I'd gone with that now.
Phillips. Right. Mine was a little bit less eventful than that. Watched some great TV, ate some fantastic food, tried to avoid family Zoom parties like the plague.
I couldn't avoid it, unfortunately. What was your favourite TV? You watched Jesus Christ Superstar, didn't you? With John Legend.
I did yesterday, and that was absolutely fan-flipping-tastic. That was amazing. And then afterwards I watched The Sound of Music with Carrie Underwood. And that was equally as good, but actually no, that wasn't as good. Actually, I'll be
all on Sky Arts. This was it.
All on Sky Arts, yes. So instead of getting my normal football fix, I was getting my cultural fix for the year. I even said to the wife, "I'm getting my cultural fix for the year." You know, done and dusted. But no, I do like a good sort of panto or musical on at Christmas. It's always at Christmas time you sort of search for these things or find them and
shows.
Yeah, and find yourself sitting down to them. And the last night was a Bee Gees. That was. I love the Bee Gees. A big Bee Gees fan myself.
Was that the documentary?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, I like the Bee Gees.
That was really good. I'm a big Bee Gees fan. But
people think they just done the disco stuff. If you go back further than that, they were kind of like a Beatles-inspired group, weren't they? Psychedelic group.
Yeah, but the thing I've not done yet is I've not watched Greatest Showman and I've not watched Bad Santa. But they're two Christmas films that it's still Christmas, so.
Callie recommended Bad Santa to us, didn't he?
It's a fantastic film. Billy Bob Thornton's finest
screenplay.
So, Adam Flatt, hi chaps. If you've got Disney Plus, the film Soul is excellent.
I've heard. I'm a big fan of these animated films at Christmas. I've heard that's very, very good. Yeah.
Callie, food and Die Hard. Nothing else is needed. Absolutely not.
I've never seen Die Hard. Which is surprising because Alan Rickman's in it. I'm a big Alan Rickman fan. I can't ever recall watching it. The first one. I feel like I've seen the others. I can't even recall seeing the first one. Is it a Christmas movie?
Well, it was released at Christmas, wasn't it? I think so.
Is it Christmas? Is there Christmas-inspired scenes?
I suppose so. I've only seen it once, and it's obviously known for yippee-yi-yay, mother. Beep, beep.
Yeah. Look, Callie's now picking up Bad Santa 2.
I have to be honest. I have not seen Bad Santa 2. If I have, it's not lived long in the memory. We can't really talk about Ipswich Town or do a podcast about Town. I obviously mentioned that dreaded C word. So the COVID-19 update is this, I suppose. Obviously, Northampton game was postponed, and that has been rearranged already to the 16th of February, 2 days after Valentine's Day, guys and girls. So don't forget that. Wimbledon is the 29th. That has been cancelled without a rearranged date so far. And Fleetwood for the 2nd of January is also in doubt, but is currently on, I believe. So it's still on. We're still up for the match day ticket for that, but it's a bit in limbo because there have been 60 tests carried out on Wednesday, with 8 of the first team testing positive. This included Leo Neal and manager Paul Lambert. The training ground's been closed and a deep clean's underway. So that's really the sort of the COVID update. We've had 8 of the first team. We don't know which 8, other than obviously Lambert and O'Neill. They've called for a circuit break, haven't they? Physio, Matt Boyard, and Paul Lambert. That almost would play into our hands, though, Matt, wouldn't it? A circuit break, because you get.
Yeah, the Cruncher wants to do that. The Cruncher thinks the season should just have a little suspension for a couple of weeks, doesn't he, to help people get over. It would help us, absolutely, it would. Maybe that's really the town's agenda behind all of this. You've got to think, it's self-preservation, isn't it, really, when it comes to the football side of things, not the human being side of it, the football side of it. So it would help to get people back on the grass, as we like to call it. Flynn can't be too far away now, surely. That's only like a Paul Lambert answer, then, didn't it? Is Flynn nearly back? He's not too far away. So doesn't actually
he's got a pulse. That's as much as we can confirm. Yeah. He's got a pulse. Yeah. Kane Vincent-Young, he'll be a lot closer.
Yeah.
It could.
I've been saying that for a year.
Well, yeah, that's true. Obviously, League One's not going to be affected by any sort of summer tournaments.
No. So is it? I don't know whether or not you. Well, I don't know if you can extend the season. We've just seen it in the previous seasons with the Premier League and the Championship. But I don't know how this now works going forward. Would they have written into their rules and regs, the Football League, how a season is extended due to pandemics? That's got to be in there now, surely. So it could do.
Just to answer a couple of questions in the chat. First of all, Nick says Fleetwood's been called off now. It's not been officially called off. The latest is it's in doubt. That is the latest.
What date is that? The 2nd?
Yes, that is the 2nd.
So it'd have to be a 10-day period before then, wouldn't it, I suppose? Clearance period, I suppose.
I think it will probably be called off.
I think so.
Officially, as far as I'm led to believe by the news I've read today, it's in limbo. And then to follow up, Ips Blakey 1984, have we got our players training? Those that have tested negative are training, but on their own. So it's an individual-based training session at a location. Got ball against the garage wall. Well, at a location not Playford Road. So, playing 1-2 with the wall as a kid. But they are training. So, most to be seen, I suppose. If we look at League One, just to quickly sort of round up yesterday's results, we dropped to 7th in the table. Now, this is like glass half full, Matt, because, well,
Yeah.
if you look at it positively, we're still joint fifth, equal points with Posh and Charlton, same games played. But if you're glass half empty, Stanley have got 2 games in hand and 2 points behind us.
Yeah. So you got to think we're probably going to drop another place.
Well,
Everyone's done about 18 games now, haven't they? Everyone's caught us up now.
Yes. Yeah.
But
have we? Because you think about their games in hand, it's Doncaster, and Doncaster absolutely mauled us, and it's Hull. So you really, if you stepped back and said, take the Town hat off, my negativity hat off for a second, Stanley aren't going to beat Hull and Doncaster.
Who knows? Who knows in this division?
That's true.
Donny are fourth now, aren't they? I believe.
They are. Yeah. And Hull are third.
We're paying the price a little bit, aren't we, for that sort of ludicrous bit of form we had against the top teams, where we lost to who was it? Hull, and then Charlton, and then Pompey.
Yeah.
So we've not stepped up to the plate in those games, as we said at the time. We probably thought we'd lose them. This is when we were going through that can Lambert survive this period mode. So it feels like, I don't know really. I mean, if we do have a little season break and everything, that'll be in sort of the rear view mirror, won't it, a little bit? But look, we're not even halfway through the season yet. We're not too far off, are we? We're not halfway through. But we're still below par, aren't we? We're below par because we're performed against the good teams.
Yeah, and that's why, isn't that why the PP points per game formulas everyone's trotting about on social media? It's a bit hasty, isn't it? I mean, we're not even halfway through. They're more likely to say, do you know what? We'll null and void this season.
Yeah, that would happen. You can't put promotion and relegation on the back of 18 games. I will say to you, when we used to do the FA Cup, we used to be oversubscribed of entries. There used to be about 727 teams would enter the FA Cup from August. But yet you had about 200 other teams wanting to be in it as well. So the FA would use points per game, right down to the decimal points, to work out who that top 727 was going to be. Obviously, the Premier League and the elite clubs all got through, and the teams in the conference. But yeah, everyone that was sat in that almost verging on grassroots football, they'd done a season in the Vars, which was the qualifying period. Then they wanted to get into the FA Cup, so that's how they used to do it, points per game. That was the fairest way. But I don't feel like you could decide the season, which is not even 50% completed on points per game. I can't say that yet. Don't avoid it.
But I think we said on the show before, haven't we? It was ludicrous to do the cups. It was ludicrous to do the Papa John's Trophy. There's 3 games there you could have had against 3 league position. You could have then had over 20 games already in halfway, and it could be in a different situation. But there we are where we are. So taking a step back for a second, this wasn't planned, but it's just come to mind. With all this happening, whether Fleetwood goes ahead or not, where does this leave the protest for Swindon? Has this taken the heat out a little bit, or is it? I don't know. Where are you sitting on it?
Well, they're not going to. So Suffolk's in Tier 4 now, isn't it? All of East of England's in Tier 4, right? So that protest ain't going to happen, is it? Because I doubt we're going to be out of this tier for a while. Yeah.
Well, lift the tiers up, right? Lift the tiers up just for a second. We're living in fantasy land. Has it taken the sting out of it though? So is there now the fire in the belly of the fans to do it?
Well, I know the fire isn't in your belly, because you were saying yesterday I'm not really bothered about Boxing Day football while we're in League One, and I do understand that. I mean, I said to you on WhatsApp yesterday, and to Rich, because Rich really loves Boxing Day football, but the games couldn't come quick enough when we was in the Premier League for me, because it felt like we were on the edge of things happening, flying in the league, beating top sides and drawing with them. And now, as Callie's just said, we barely got over the line against Burton, whilst Lincoln put 5 past them yesterday. So it's kind of that apathy in there towards being in the third tier and not being able to compete properly. Is the fire I think the fire is probably in the belly of the guys from Blue Action, because they go to great lengths to create atmosphere, like those kind of Italian ultra inspired banners that they all put up. I think they're fantastic. They're not done overnight, are they? They take weeks, probably months to do that kind of fan artwork. So I take my hat off to them. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Would I have gone to the protest? Probably not. My protest is not going in the ballot.
Likewise.
I do, because I do feel like, as we've said before, it's only my personal opinion, but I know you kind of agree, Martin, that tickets is what hurts Marcus Evans. He's a ticket man. That's how he made his fortune, through tickets. As you've said, he's heard the boos before. We had protests before, maybe not to the extent that the guys wanted to do, but it's difficult. I mean, at IPSWICH, could we do a socially distant protest? even that loses its fire a little bit, doesn't it? In terms of, you know, so I know Carl Fuller put on Twitter, Mick McGivern out, and the fans are on the pitch. That's like a proper protest to me. You're in front of the director's box, and they're scurrying back to their cups of tea and sandwiches. Quickly, get away! Don't look at the pitch. You know, that's a proper protest to the people that matter to me. But you know, do the best you can in the circumstances we've got.
I think social media takes a little bit of the sting out, obviously, because people can sort of vent, and I'll be honest, to an extent, forums like this as well. I do think when I say about Boxing Day, I love my club, as it's probably well documented and well known.
Yeah.
I'm just not in love with football.
Yeah.
Especially at the moment without any crowds. It's too sanitized. It's almost like watching pop stars, the rivals, play out. You know what I mean? Like it's all been put together commercially, and it's all sort of sanitized characters. There's no Vieiras, Petites, Roy Keane. You know, when the most interesting thing of a football match is the guy in the studio, we're having issues here, big issues. And that's where I am. And I've got no interest in watching Watford, Norwich, or Southampton, whoever they played yesterday. And it doesn't affect my club, doesn't hurt my club, doesn't help my club. It's absolutely nothing, really. And I mean, like yesterday, obviously Watford, I think, faced Norwich, didn't they? And, you know,
1-0.
Yeah.
Norwich played in blue. The fans were outraged.
I know. I saw that. Well, there we go. But I switched over to Dennis Bergkamp. 100 Premier League goals, or Dennis Bergkamp's best goals, whatever.
All right, yeah.
And oh my God, when he scored and the crowd went absolutely wild, it was I've really missed that feel. I've really missed that feeling of watching a crowd go wild. And Sort of Fig says, yes, modern football needs looking at as VAR sums it up for me. VAR sums up what the football has become.
Yeah. I think didn't Noel Gallagher, was he on Soccer or something? He said VAR's for snowflake football fans. We've scored a goal. Now let's see what's wrong with it. It has that really does sanitize football, VAR. I suppose. I mean, we're lucky really in League One that we haven't got it. But that used to be what the beauty of football was about. When I was at the FA, what they used to drive was the fact that you were playing by the same rule set on a Sunday morning in your club, Martin, as you were at Anfield.
Yeah.
And now you're not.
No.
So there is that. It's now a different game. Yeah.
This is what I said to you the other day. I really prefer and dig my American sports because it's all about competition. It's all about level playing field. It's all about the league, if you like, owns everything. You know, and you would never get what you get in this country, particularly with like League One, where the league's got no say in anything. Like, there's no COVID protocol that every club follows, regardless of who they are, how many positives, how many negatives. It just seems to be a free-for-all. Like, we have a couple early in the season, we play a couple of games. Posh have a couple, they cancel a couple of games. There's no just consistency. It's just you get on with it. Don't come to us unless you really need us. Yeah.
I mean, I've never really been a big supporter of the EFL, to be honest with you. I mean, they played in baseball. They played a reduced season, didn't they? They did 60 games. So normally they'd play 162. They did about 60 games, I think. So we've not the MLB and American media still see that as winning the World Series. I don't know. Interesting little point there from Lee Brown. He said, "Well, Matt, give up your season ticket then. That'd be a proper protest." But then you haven't got a say, have you? Because while you're putting money into the club, I feel like you've got a legitimate say. You've got credibility to what you say. Then I just become a person in the street. Oh well, I'm not going to bother going down next week.
Yeah, I read that point myself, and I generally believe the reverse is true in what you're doing there. Because if let's say 1,000 people stopped having season tickets tomorrow as a protest, then the press would just report 8,000 season ticket holders in the summer. There was one headline, one news story. That's how many have renewed. If nobody goes in for a ballot months after not being let in a stadium, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? Really,
that was still the best. Your idea was still the best idea there, I think. If no one had gone to the Pompey game, I feel that would have. And you said that would have made headlines.
Oh, it'd have been news in Chicago. It'd have been news all over the world because it's like people are desperate to get back, apart from a set of fans. Why? Because their manager's not good enough. Nick Muller, I don't think Ipswich fans would ever let Ipswich playing yellow. Do you know what? I'd play in anything if we were if we were as good as
GB was talking about this today. He posted a picture. We used to have a yellow and blue away kit, which I've always been a fan of bringing back. And I know Callie was in on the conversation as that as well. That's like Boca Juniors stuff. yellow shirts, blue collar, blue shorts, yellow and blue socks. It's a cool looking kit. Get over it. We're not playing them anyway at the moment.
You know what? I'd play in yellow and green every week if I had internationals playing for me. If I had, January coming up and I could look forward to my club, maybe investing in a couple of players and being ambitious and all of that.
Yeah.
I'd play in yellow and green every single week. It wouldn't bother me at all. It's a colour, That said, my son has got a That's Not My Snowman book, and we have to turn the page very quickly when the snowman with the yellow and green scarf comes on. It's like, nope, we're not sticking on that page. That's moving on.
Well, when me and my missus first moved into our flat many years ago, and we were shopping for the first time, and she got the Coleman's mustard off the shelf. I said, "What are you doing?" She was getting the Coleman's mustard. I said, "It's made in Norwich. We're not having that." And she looked at me like I was the most pathetic person in the world. So we ended up buying the Coleman's mustard, obviously.
My mother-in-law makes Delia Smith sausage rolls at Christmas. I begrudgingly eat them, and they are begrudgingly ate. It's like, if I must eat this sausage roll made by Delia, I will, but I will protest.
There was the Vicar of Dibley Christmas special the other day, where she has 4 Christmas dinners, and she's so stuffed. She's crawling down the road, and she's going, "I curse the ground you walk on, Delia Smith." And I was thinking, there we go, Vicar of Dibley, Ipswich Town fan.
Michael Finch would play naked if we'd invest in our team. Adam Flatt, it's nuts that Town have only tested 2-3 times since July. Marcus Evans had to pay for 1. Excuse my French, but that's what I mean, right? In the NFL, for example, it's mandatory testing every couple of days, particularly before a game day. Whereas the EFL just seems like not have had any sort of responsibility and said, right, this is the protocol. This is how we keep you safe, keep our games on.
Yeah, they've got the infrastructure to do it. That's why.
Well, that's true.
They've got the infrastructure.
I mean,
that's why I feel like the Premier League should probably run all of football. I've always said this.
Well, they kind of do. They've got
the money. They can put the infrastructure in.
It might be Christmas, but we have got a media mogul story courtesy of yourself. So, after the jingle, give us your best story, Mr. Phillips. Where's the jingle? There it is. The media mogul story in association with Networking 90. Don't be left in the dark. Get networking with Networking 90.
Networking 90, absolutely. Well, we're talking. It's a nice little segue actually, because we're talking about investment and things of that nature, and we touched on this in our little Christmas non-football show we did the other week. Leicester City. I really admire Leicester City, their ownership, the King Power people. Yep. I wish they bought Ipswich. I really do. The father figure of sadly died, didn't he? And the son's taking it on, Coon Top. And this is what their next stage is. So everyone, this is a club, right? I was thinking back to this. There it is. I mean, look at that. That's their new training ground. £95 million investment. That's over 180 acres. 7 new buildings. 21,593 new trees have been planted. 1.5 million litres of water is sitting in there somewhere for recycling across the pitches to keep them tip-top. 30 bedrooms within those buildings there for staff and players to stay at. 14 full-size pitches and 7 small-sided pitches. And 499 seats for general public and media to come and watch the sessions. Isn't that fantastic? Look at that. Wouldn't that be fantastic for Ipswich to have that? And it comes down to ownership, doesn't it? We just said at the top of the show there. Wouldn't it be fantastic if King Power had purchased Ipswich Town? Because Leicester City were a smaller club than Pullman Road, than Ipswich when they were at Filbert Street. And you compare Filbert Street to Pullman Road. And we played them in that snow game in 2010 and beat them 3-0 when Sven-Goran Eriksson was manager. You never thought they were going to go on and have big facilities and win the Premier League back then, would you? That was only 10 years ago.
But even then, having Eriksson in charge of a second-tier club showed ambition. And do you know what? I just look at Leicester and I look at them as the blueprint, if you like, because for me, that's ownership from the moment they've come in, have wanted to be the absolute best.
Yeah. Really
tier 2, we'll get the best manager. That's Eriksson International. Yeah. Yes. Then they had their new stadium. They did that. Then they've done this. It's all about being front of the queue, front and central. We are the best. We are owners of Leicester City Football Club. I'm pleased to meet you. Our owner seems to want to hide. Yeah,
we do know what he looked like for about 7 years.
This is what I keep saying every week. Where's the pride of a multimillionaire saying, I'm Marcus Evans, owner of Ipswich Town Football Club. I own this, and this. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it fantastic? Come and see my stadium, my multi-millionaire. He must have multi-millionaire friends because the rich mix with the rich, right? So where's the I'm elbows out.
They got a couple of decisions wrong, didn't they? I think they got Purlin, didn't they? And he wasn't too hot. But I mean, even when they got Ranieri in, I was like, what the hell? I love Claudio Ranieri. I think he's a great character. But even I was going, I think he's going to do much at Leicester. And lo and behold, he wins them the Premier League. Kind of what magic was sitting behind that, I don't know. But fair play to him. It was fantastic to see them win that. But they're everything we want to be. They're everything we want to be because they're a similar club to us.
And they're everything every club wants to be now. But obviously, when you've started, it's like Burnley, I suppose. When you started from a level playing field as we did with Burnley, and now you look at them, yes, they're not as successful as Leicester, but they're still a Premier League club and they're still plugging away. And they're
pretty well run, aren't they, Burnley? I think they turn a profit, actually.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Like, you think about all the sort of brownfield or green, brownfield starts around Ipswich, and you think about what a real owner with this sort of level of pride could have achieved. I think I said previously, the old factory where near Morrison's on the outskirts of town, where there's a new container depot. That could have been a stadium.
Yeah.
No one likes an out of town stadium, but if you've got a big stadium with great facilities and a good team in it, you will not care where it is.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look at Brentford. I mean, they've moved out of Griffin Park, which was old school, and had the famous sport pubs on each corner, and they've gone to their new ground, and they seem like a club on the up, don't they? Still, and probably their fans embrace that. They could go to it. Yeah.
Because they're looking forward. Sore feet. Yeah. Cambridge United owners said club losing money with only 2,000 fans, but would lose for fans to attend. Facebook user, with ownership, it is always where the club is located. East Anglia doesn't sell it. But this
true.
is it. Yeah,
true.
That is true. But is it true? We're an hour outside of London.
Yeah.
Like,
got a good fan base. We do have a worldwide fan base, by the way. I don't know if I've said on the show before. I've sat in. Do you remember the Barnsley game when we were 2 down and won 5-3? I sat in Tenerife with a load of Norwegian Town fans watching that. I thought it was only going to be me sat in there watching the game at the bar. And I was in there with a load of Norwegian fans. Fantastic. We have a worldwide fan base.
Anywhere in the world, you wear a Town shirt, I guarantee you'll find somebody that says, "Ipswich Town."
How many football clubs have their own fan base within a football club? The Fortuna Düsseldorf, the Fortuna Blues. There you go.
Exactly.
So me and Rich always say this, don't we? Don't ever lose sight of how big Ipswich are. We are a big club.
I don't buy into the that sort of argument where you're East Anglian. I mean, Norwich is further away from London than we are, and they've never had a problem, even when they weren't a Premier League team, all the riches, a problem recruiting players. I think that's an excuse brought in by a club that doesn't want to pay for players.
Roy Keane started it as well, didn't he? Players don't want to come in; it's too remote. Well, really?
You're just not paying them enough, are you? That's why. When you've got two options, Matt, you're a dad. One option's paying you a certain amount, option B's paying you a bit more. Doesn't matter where option B is. It's better for your family. It's better for your family, right? Yeah, you look at Bart. Absolutely. His family still live in Suffolk, so it's that great of an area. Despite him playing for Millwall now, he's keeping his family in Suffolk.
Just signed a new contract, hasn't he?
I think even Daryl Murphy, when he moved to Newcastle, kept his family in Suffolk.
And then Lee always stayed in Suffolk. I think he was in Dedham. Loved it there. Well, it's a lovely village.
Common theme here, isn't there, really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly,
Where it's a really nice area. So maybe it's not as bad as people make it out.
Football clubs like their players to be settled with families. And, you've got East Anglia's a great place to be settled down there.
It really is. Right, let's round up today's show. It's a short, sharp one because of no football. And obviously we're missing Cruncher, and Cruncher's the heart of our defence, and he makes things tick. So we'll jump aboard the Matt Phillips Talking Town time machine. And where are we going to, Matt?
Well, if you follow my Twitter, I've been telling the story. This is a season that always interests me. First of all, because it's the first time we'd always gone in. The years before, we'd always gone intermittently. But this is the first time my dad actually said we could go as a season together. So it's the first season in charge with Bobby Ferguson. So Bobby Robson's gone off to manage England. It's the 82-83 season. And, it's that kind of after the Lord Mayor shows party, really, because Bobby Ferguson's trying to keep the old team together while single-handedly trying to pay for a new stand, which was the Pioneer stand. So, on this day, 27th of December 1982, we played Norwich. So we had an East Anglian derby. There is Terry Butcher. Shout out Terry Butcher. It's his birthday tomorrow. It's going to be 62. But in that picture there, he was 23. That's the game we just played against Everton. We'd lost 2-0. Local media had said it was our worst performance of the season. He's jumping in front of David Johnson, the first, who was at Town, striker. Had a really great career for Town. He had 136 Town appearances. Was part of that 70s team that played in Europe. People might remember, Sawthorne might remember this, the famous Lazio game where we got kind of attacked by the Lazio players. Yeah, and he went on and played for England. He played for Liverpool. He played for Everton. So that's the programme cover. This is what's inside the programme. So this is Town pair in the race for the golden shoe. The golden shoe. The golden shoe. What is this, Cinderella? But yeah. So this was, we've got two people competing for we'll call it the golden boot, for the golden boot there. Wilkie was up there. Alan Brazil was up there. Spoiler alert, Alan Brazil leaves in the first half of the new year. Goes in March, I think, to top, leaving Wilkie. But at the top of the list at the Christmas was Brian Steed. Remember him? Played for Luton. And he had one England cap, Brian Steed. Fantastic player for them. Luton were a good team in that kind of mid to early 80s period. And I think in the programme article, you can read all this on my Twitter, but in the programme article, they're saying Ian Rush is the hot favourite to win the golden shoe. But in fact, it was Luther Blissett would come through at the end of the season. He scored 27 goals, and he was famous to going from Watford on to AC Milan. A good team, that Watford team, weren't they? Graham Taylor, Elton John as the chairman. So that's that article in there. So, yeah, lots of goals floating around, even though Town weren't doing particularly well. We had two players in there. That's Ian Gillan. Now, Ian Gillan was the lead singer of a group called Deep Purple. And Paul Mariner, Alan Brazil, Paul Cooper, and Kevin O'Callaghan were invited onto the stage with Ian Gillan at the Gormont Theatre. Is that still going in Ipswich, the Gormont Theatre? Is that still around? They get on stage and they do a couple of numbers of Ian Gillan at his solo show. And I do believe, Ian Gillan was in Jesus Christ Superstar, going back to full circle, he said. Whether or not he plays the main role, I don't know. But, so Ipswich Town players on stage. Now we have players wrestling, of course, James Millwood, but back then they were on stage with kind of famous rock stars at that point. But, yeah, we lost this game. Unfortunately, it's Town 2, Norwich 3. Some things never change, do they? And Martin O'Neill scores an 88th minute. I think it was a free kick down the Churchman's end, curled it in. It was a really good goal. I can still picture it now. 88th minute winner to win it 3-2. But there was some, sat on the bench was Trevor Putney, who went to Norwich. He had 103 appearances for us, made 82 appearances for Norwich. Yeah, and our Facebook user, whoever that might be, is completely correct. And John Dean was in that golden shoe list. He came the other way. So he had 162 appearances for Norwich, 49 for Town. There's Trevor. I always think Trevor Putney looks like Flynn Downs. What do you think? There he is. If you're watching on the video, if you're listening on Spotify, you won't know. But there he is, Trevor Putney.
If you squint, yes.
The blonde hair, similar facial features. He's from Romford. I think Flynn's from Romford, Brentwood, around that way. I can't think of too many transfers since where, the Ian Crook one never materialised, did it? But I can't think of too many transfers between the two clubs since. And also playing for Norwich in that game was Keith Birchin, who did 32 appearances for Town. Some of our older listeners and viewers might remember him. He went to Birmingham, then he went on to Norwich and did 114 appearances for Norwich. So there you go. So unfortunately we lost 3-2. Osman and Mariner got our goals. Peter Mendham got 2 for Norwich that day. He was like a hard tackling ginger-haired player for them. I don't think he did too much after he left them. And then Martin O'Neill scored the winner. So unfortunately some things never change, guys. We lost 3-2. Yeah.
There we go. Cruncher got Brazil's book for Christmas. Very critical of Bobby Ferguson.
Yeah.
Adam Flat says it's the Regent now.
Right. There we go. Thanks, Adam. There we go.
And Facebook user says we had Marshall from Norwich. But there we go.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
As we round up, obviously the new year, everyone sets about new goals, new me, new lifestyle, all that sort of stuff. Not me. Same horrible, miserable git. But don't forget, if you are a business owner and you are wanting to set new goals, you are wanting to accomplish new things, Networking90 at iwantonetwork.com will really help you out. I do suggest you go there and check it out. I will just bring to the table one more thing. Obviously on Twitter you get some very insincere rubbish a lot of times. I saw some today. but there is something very special going on, and that is the Didn't Happen of the Year Awards quarterfinals today. I'm a big fan of these, Matthew.
Yeah, I know you are. You love this.
That's the reason why I'm logging back into Twitter. And but yeah, so if you are a fan of reading things that quite clearly did not happen, then I suggest go and check it out. Didn't Happen of the Year Awards, because it's the quarterfinal stage. And you, if you like, you can even have a little flutter on it. You know, the bookies do get behind this, Matt. It's not just some, random person in their back bedroom like this.
Ipswich finishing in the top 6 of League One did not happen.
No, sadly it really didn't. But there we go. So 2020 is done for us. We are back on, obviously Fleetwood if it's going ahead, if not the 3rd. So from me to you, to all of you watching, and obviously to Matt, have a really, really good New Year. Stay safe, stay well, and look after each other. And thank you for being here in 2020.
Thanks.
I was thinking about it today, Matt, and do you know what? It's really... When we've done these shows and we've had people watching and talking, it's been a real comfort, and it's got me through this year. And I didn't realise when I did the shows how much of a comfort and how much I needed these people to get me through. And I just hope we've helped somebody in return.
It's great we can do these shows and bring the community together, and it's great for us as people putting these shows together, because it gives us something else to do rather than watching the news and being, worried about what's going to be happening again. But let's try and keep positive. 2021, new start and all that thing. Let's keep our fingers crossed, eh?
And 2021 will be a bigger, better year.
Yeah, brilliant. We'll see that statue, hopefully.
Yes, we will. Any final words, Matthew, before I press the button for 2020?
Yeah, just to reiterate, it's fantastic. Thanks to everyone tuning in and listening and downloading the shows. We love this dialogue with you. Something to look forward to. Let's keep it going in 2021, and all the best from my family to yours.
And to yours. Much love. See you later.
Hello and welcome to Portman Road. This sound indicates an important announcement.